Hey everyone, Cahlen here, and I want to give an update on how the spiral garden is going. As you can see, it doesn't really look like much is happening, except that Jesse has placed some rocks around, and I'm going to continue in putting those rocks around the entire thing. So that's one thing I'll be doing the next couple of days. But also, before I left on my trip, where I was gone for about 2 weeks, I took some old, multi-year-old seed, like survival amaranth, right, in a survival bucket from the health ranger store. But this is like a 4-year-old thing, and I took the amaranth and I put it in these parts around these lower parts, and then I just kicked a little bit of dirt on top of it, and then I watered it for maybe a day or two just to see if anything would happen. And so I came back 2 weeks later, and let's take a look at what it looks like. Okay, so there's the center of the garden, right, where you would sit, and then you grow everything in these little in-betweens so that they kind of gather the water. This one goes around, and here we are. And you can see these little green things. That's from the apricot tree. I always miss when this thing does its things. Last year I went away for like a few weeks, and all the apricot grew and everyone ate them, and then I came back right after basically, and now it did it with the blossom, so that's a bummer, but hopefully I'll get to see the fruit this year. Anyways, so I think that's those petals that came off. Here's all the amaranth, right? These little dudes. So these things are basically all over the place. And I think you would want actually many inches between them. These things get giant. So amaranth gets to be like over 6 foot tall. Of course, there's many different types of varieties, but some of them can get well over 6 feet tall. And then they have these giant bushes, like bushels of flowers, which then turn to seed. And that's where you get all the seed. And they can be really beautiful, just used ornamentally. People use them, but also it's a really good source of food. It cooks fairly quickly, like a grain. You can pop it like popcorn. You can also eat the leaves of it as if it's like a salad green. So while it's growing, even before it's sprouting seeds, it's something that you can be eating off of. It grows really well where I am by itself. It went many days without water while I was gone. Most of the days without water, and they're still growing and they look healthy. So let me just show you how I'm watering them in the current situation. So my solar electric bike has these water bottles on them, one on each side, and I just take it over here, and there's a spout and there's a shadow, and I fill up both buckets with this spout, and then I just take it over to the garden and I pour it basically, but it's, I pour it like right here so it flows in. It's not the best way to do it, but that's what I got at the moment, so we'll see where I go from there. So if all of these amaranth actually grow up to full size, this is going to be like a spiral forest, like as tall as those corn mazes, right, that people check out sometimes during the fall. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this turns out. There's the question of what else am I going to grow here. Jesse was recommending carrots. He thinks that they will grow well there, and I think I like the taste of carrots. I have the impression that they are kind of a low calorie food, which turns me off a little bit. But some people were correcting me and saying, it's a pretty big tuber. There's a lot of sugars and stuff in there. It's a pretty robust plant, and so I agree with that. It just still feels a little. Anyways, so I would like to grow like mung beans, but I don't know how well they're going to grow here. I might just plant. Honestly, I'll let these amaranth come up a little bit more, and then start planting lots of different random things all around. But if you got ideas of things that you think could grow really good with amaranth, keep in mind they're going to be fairly strong, tall stalks, which things can climb up on. So that's kind of one of the reasons I'm thinking beans would be good. So anyways, let me know if you got thoughts about what I should throw in there, and we'll see what happens. It's gonna take a little while for this story to play out, but I'll be giving updates along the way. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please consider sharing it. If you'd like to help me out in a more substantial way, you can learn how to do so at cahlen.org/gift. And if you'd like to have a one-on-one conversation with me, whether publicly or privately, you can learn how to do so at cahlen.org/one-on-one. Thanks again for watching.